Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. High overview of the connection. First, in my section, we're going to focus on our attendance challenge. More about that in just a moment. Then we get into our new anonymous tip line, See Something, Say Something, through the Sandy Hook Promise. More about that in just a moment. Our Winning ESC Awards, Western New York Education Service Council. We'll talk about those. We then move into our safety tips for families, and that's focusing on tick bite prevention. And then we get into, of course, every week, our school and district highlights. We finish off with our recognitions. This week, we're recognizing teachers and school nurses. Let's get a little bit deeper into the connection. The biggest part of the connection today, our attendance campaign. Folks, oh, look at that. Look at that award. We have this trophy not only for our most improved elementary school weekly, not only our most improved middle school weekly, but also we bring our high schools into the mix, and we have 3 trophies, one for each of those: elementary, middle school, high school, and this is how it's going to work. Every week we look at the baseline data up until last Wednesday of where every school was, and then the school that shows the least amount of regression or the most growth. Now, why we're focusing also on the least amount of regression, why we started this campaign, it brings us back to the beginning, because the fourth quarter we know is always our most challenging quarter of the school year for attendance. We see a huge regression every school year, and this week we're going to announce our most improved for this past week. These trophies will travel from school to school based week to week, but you got to be in it to win it. Here are our 3 most improved. At the elementary level, Franklin Elementary, that's you. And then at the middle school, Hoover Middle, great job getting the least amount of regression this past week. At our high schools, Kenmore Junior Senior High School, you had the least amount of regression this week from where your baseline was. And folks, the work has just started. We don't even want to talk about regression. We want to progress every week. Remember, fourth quarter is the toughest. We always see the most amount of regression. We want to see not only the least amount, but see actual growth during the fourth quarter. The game is on. We have all of our staff involved. Everyone's taking on kiddos, talking to families, sharing some stories with kids, providing motivation in families. That's what we can count on you to do. That's going to be the partnership. You also provide that motivation at home. Let's get the best attendance that we can. I'll just leave you anecdotally with this. I always tell students anecdotally, when I miss a day of work, it takes me at least 5 days to catch up. Well, if it takes me that long, think about how long it takes a kiddo to catch up just from missing 1 day of school. More to come with attendance. That will be a hot topic for the rest of the school year. Then we get into our next section, See Something, Say Something. And folks, really special congratulations to a lot of our district personnel, especially Miss Dina Ferraccio, who has led the way on bringing the Sandy Hook Promise here to Kenton. And this is an anonymous reporting system. The kids are all going to be trained on it this next month. It opens up, goes live May 30th. Read more about this section. Of course, Sandy Hook, that terrible tragedy took place back in 2012, and that was the origin of why this anonymous tip line came to be. Check out that section. Real great program we're starting here in Kenton. Our next section focuses on the Winning ESC Award winners, Western New York Education Service Council. And folks, every year nominations come in for people to be recognized in certain categories. And this year, 3 of our people are recognized. For the principalship, Miss Kia Evans over at Franklin Elementary. We all know how great Kia is. For our teachers under the teacher section of the Winning ESC Awards, Miss Mary Beeger won the award this year. She is one of our instructional support specialists, really focusing on RTI. Great job always by Mary. And then our final award winner for this year, Miss Molly Stoll, bus driver, recognized by the Western New York Education Service Council. Congratulations to these 3 individuals. They are just examples of the great things that we have going on in Kenton because we're led by such great people. Then we get into our safety tips for families. And folks, we're really focusing on this time of the year. I know we're coming out of that cold, a lot of rain, a lot of water, a lot of ticks. So tick bite prevention. Ticks can be very dangerous, especially when it comes to Lyme disease, the spread of Lyme disease. So really check out that section. We have some real great safety tips for families. Then we get into our school and district highlights. Kenmore West Choir competes for a spot at the Erie County Fair. Dozens take part in Earth Day cleanup at Aqua Lane Park. Teachers showcase high-impact practices in classrooms. Franklin and Lindbergh Elementary host multicultural dinners. Kenmore West Musical earns several theater nominations. Kenmore West and Edison students team up for art project. Kenmore West Senior participates in National Shakespeare Competition. Big Picture Initiative seeks to inspire smiles along Delaware Road. Franklin Middle students celebrate Earth Day and citizen science activities. WBFO representative visits Kenmore West Honors class. And finally, Kenmore East Street Law class visits police department. And folks, it brings us to our recognition. We've been talking about people and what they're doing throughout the district with this attendance challenge. You want to talk about recognitions. Next week is the time to recognize our teachers and school nurses. Our Teacher Appreciation Day is Tuesday, May 6th. And folks, we don't even have to say what teachers do. Teaching isn't a career. It's not a job. It is a chosen lifestyle, and our teachers exemplify that, doing everything all the time for their kiddos and for families. Folks, take a day next week, Tuesday, May 6th, and really just say thank you to our teachers for everything they do in this teaching lifestyle. And then we have our school nurses, and School Nurse Recognition Day is the very next day after teachers, Wednesday, May 7th. And folks, we're talking about the attendance challenge. Our nurses are in on the attendance challenge, but our nurses are into everything. They're always working with kiddos. It's not just when a kid isn't feeling well or when they come down to the nurse's office to take a prescribed medication or any of those things. It is far above and beyond because they do above and beyond. The relationships they forge with our children, how they're watching out after our kiddos and our staff. Just really take time to say thank you to our nurses next week. And folks, that brings us to the end of the connection. And once again, our attendance challenge. Look at that. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of all of our staff. I'm proud of our students. This needs to be our focus. You got to be in it to win it. You got to be here to learn. Whatever type of Somatoism you want to use, this is where the rubber hits the road. Let's make sure we make it happen together, because together that makes us Kenton strong, Kenton proud, and helps us to move our district forward. Have a wonderful, safe weekend.